My beloved child, pause here. Do not turn away. You stand on the edge of a sacred threshold, and what you're about to hear will shake the very foundation of who you believe yourself to be. I have cradled your silent tears, witnessed your hidden struggles, and I tell you this with urgency. The words that follow are not random echoes, but a divine summons. Stay until the end, for in those final moments I will reveal a truth that can heal the wounds you thought would never mend. There is more at stake than you realize. Your destiny is being called forth, and I, the Lord your God, long to speak life into the emptiest chambers of your heart. Time is short, and this message cannot wait. Will you dare to listen? You searched for answers among the noise, within countless opinions, and through performances that exhaust your spirit. Yet the answer has never been external. It has always lain buried underneath the many layers of who you believed you had to become. I am not a distant God, perched in the heavens, anticipating your arrival at some unattainable standard of perfection. I am the voice that once whispered to you in your earliest terrors, the unnameable comfort present in your darkest hours, the gentle ache that settles in you when the world grows silent. Now, I invite you not to labor more, but to surrender more completely, to journey inward where my spirit resides, not as a tenant, but as a guide. A crucial confrontation awaits, not with the individuals around you, nor with the circumstances that rattled your foundations, but with the image of yourself that you accepted, yet which fails to align with my truth. The version shaped by mere survival, scarred by abandonment, and trained to be suspicious of stillness, is not who I designed. Although you have learned to exist within that shell, I did not craft you simply to exist. I shaped you to truly live, to glow with divine purpose, to mirror me in every stirring of your soul. That reflection is obscured but not obliterated, hidden but not destroyed. And now I call you not to flee the discomfort coursing within, but to face it, dwell with it, and allow me to speak through it. Every pang in your spirit is a signal, not a punishment. Every question that remains unanswered is an open door. This internal conflict, though it may unsettle the identity you've built, will never shatter the core essence I placed in you. I do not fear your doubts, nor do I take offense at your tears. I have not arrived to condemn your frailty, but to unveil my strength within it. You have long held the burden of believing you must solve everything before I can draw near. Yet, child, I never departed. I never turned away. I stood quietly behind the veil of your defenses, waiting for you to weary of illusions and reach for the genuine. Now we are here, not at an ending, but at truth's dawning. You are not defined by the voice of pain. You are not the sum total of every misfortune. The reality of your identity has been buried beneath the clamor, and I, the Lord your God, am unearthing it through every breath you dare to aim in my direction. Do not fear the truth of what you have ignored. The terror gripping you the moment you peer inward is the last struggle of a false persona losing its grip. Let it crumble. Let these layers be stripped away. Allow the ache to swell if it must. For within this unguarded, sacred confrontation, your authentic self emerges. You do not need an additional voice dictating your actions. You require my voice, reminding you of your true identity. And that voice does not echo from beyond, it surges from within. I anchored it there when I formed you. I preserved it through every tempest. Now I am calling it to the surface. You will not locate me through performance. You will encounter me through permission to feel, to wrestle with questions, to believe anew. There is nothing to prove. I have always known you and still chose to make my home in you. This confrontation is not a pass-fail test. It is a doorway I am opening, a holy threshold that beckons you to cross. Let go of old habits. End the struggle. Bring me your vulnerable heart, your trembling truths, your hopes still unfulfilled. There is where my presence dwells. There is where you shall find me. And when you do, the revelation will strike. The answer has abided within you all along. Child, you often wonder what I see when I gaze upon you. You carry the hushed fear that I notice only your failures, that I weigh your value by your deeds, that I peer down from above like a detached ruler keeping track of your missteps. This image does not originate with me. Such a burden is not drawn from my heart. I do not view you through the lens of your past, your wounds, or your perplexities. I behold you through the fullness of who I fashioned you to be, the version that still breathes beneath all your burdens, the one fear could not destroy and pain failed to bury. When I look upon you, I see my reflection. Even if dust covers it, I recognize the beauty I sculpted in secrecy, the intentions I wove into you before your first breath cracked the silence. I see the tenderness this world tried so hard to harden. I notice the resilience you forgot was there. I observe the small flicker of faith you were convinced you had lost, still alive, still aflame. You see your fissures. I see the light shining through them. You have misjudged yourself under borrowed voices that were never mine. Voices declaring you were too much or never enough. Voices that demanded flawlessness prior to granting acceptance. Voices that scolded you for needing rest, for your intensity of feeling, for challenging what felt untrue. I have never been that voice. I do not heap shame on your internal battles. I do not retreat when tears fall. I take no offense at your uncertainties. I am the one who shaped your heart, knowing it would ache in such a world. I am the author of your ability to feel profoundly, to love fiercely, to discern the eternal from the empty. You were not formed for numbness. You were not built to be mechanical. You were never intended to conform to broken systems just to survive. You bear my likeness, not merely in spirit, but in the blueprint of your soul. This means you are permitted to feel, to question, to fold yourself into my embrace when the burdens exceed your strength. When you do, I do not sigh with displeasure. I draw nearer, holding you with an intimacy the world cannot replicate. I do not want you to perform. I crave your presence. You were taught I only remain close when you appear strong, but I approach you most intimately when you are undone. You have been told my acceptance hinges on your flawlessness, but I fully approved you before you even lifted a hand. You believe that my words are reserved for the pure, the daring, the fearless. Yet, I have consistently addressed the broken, the crushed, the simply available. I speak to you now, not due to your merits, but because I have chosen you. You are not an error. I aim to correct. You are a masterpiece. I continue to restore. Every tear shed has been witnessed. Every silent cry has reached me. Every query you assumed when ignored is safely kept in the depths of my attention. I have heard you, not only with my ears, but with the fullness of my compassion. Never have I been indifferent toward your anguish. I have never overlooked your trials. Even in your silent moments, I listened. Now I ask you, my child, to let my voice override shame's echo. Allow me to redefine what you label as frailty. Pause your running long enough to recall that I walk right alongside you, not trailing behind, not racing ahead, but dwelling within. You are not awaiting my arrival. I am already present. The true question is not whether I see you, but whether you will pause enough to see yourself from my perspective. Here's the truth. My thoughts concerning you have never wavered. I never lost interest. I never released hope. Even when you turned away, I observed you with unwavering affection. Even when you pushed me beyond the borders of your pain, I hovered at its edge. Even when you railed against the silence, I was busy threading it with purpose. I recognize what lies within you because I placed it there, and I will not rest until you believe it as well. Hear this once more, and let your heart open to it. You are not invisible to me. You are not irredeemable. You are not a disappointment. You are not unloved, nor unwanted, nor worthless. You are mine, through and through. Not just the sanitized version, not only the part of you that knows correct phrases, not solely the portion that feels steady in belief. All of you. I selected you, fully aware of your frailty. I summoned you, conscious of your trepidations. I poured my anointing upon you, certain you would sometimes stumble. My love has never been conditional. It has always been eternal. It is not a prize. It is a reality. It's the anchor beneath the waves, the hand that never releases you, the flame that purifies without destroying. My invitation for you is simple, yet divine. Let my voice be the loudest. Let my truth form your reflection. Let my thoughts replace the lies to which you have clung for too long. I do not summon you to condemnation. I invite you to communion. I do not require you to rise on your own. I promise I will lift you up with my might. So take a breath, child. Be still, not because every circumstance has been resolved, but because my presence is enough. You have no need to decipher future steps. Just breathe again in me. I will guide you, not with coercion, but with unwavering fidelity. You are visible, cherished, desired, and prepared, even if you don't sense it. Let us advance together. Son, I have never dismissed the gravity of your sorrow. I see the imprint it has left on your memory, how it has molded your decisions, how it has occasionally led you to doubt my goodness. Yet I do not stay removed from your grief. I walk within it beside you. You have asked me repeatedly, why did you allow this? You have surveyed your life, moments where promises shattered, times when prayers echoed unanswered, and wondered if I withdrew, or worse, was never there at all. But I proclaim now, openly and unashamedly, I was there at every instant, in every shout of pain, in every heartbreak, in every quiet stretch, not watching passively but participating intimately, upholding your very being in my hands, even when you couldn't perceive it. Pain was never meant to define you. It was always intended to unveil you. There are levels of your nature that only reveal themselves under pressure, not because I delight in your suffering, I grieve with you, but because I recognize the hidden reservoirs within you that comfort and ease cannot awaken. Within you lie reservoirs of faith, empathy, wisdom, and strength, prepared in you long before birth. Pain often becomes the tool that chisels them out. You have survived ordeals that would break many others. You wonder why you endured, why a heartbeat of hope persists even in your bleakest moments. It is because I safeguarded something sacred within you. Your affliction is not evidence of my absence. It has been the soil of my silent presence. As a seed must fracture to bloom, as night descends before stars appear, so too must the human soul sometimes crack for glory to be revealed. You might not grasp the reasons behind each loss, each delay, each defeat, but heed my words. Nothing you have experienced is without purpose. Not a single instant, not a single tear, not a single phase of bewilderment or despair. I redeem them all. I do not merely restore, I resurrect. I do not solely offer solace, I commission. There is a holy logic woven into the path I have allowed you to traverse. Though it may look disjointed when viewed through pain's limited lens, there were instances I might have stepped in as you expected, but I chose to protect a deeper plan. Had I plucked the thorn too soon, the roots of your calling would not have dug themselves deep enough to carry the weight of what lies ahead. I did not reject your pleas. I was steadying your soul. I was not remote during your agony. I was muted because I was crafting something. What I was constructing was not only around you, but within you. I am aware that suffering has wearied you. It has taught you to brace for impact rather than dream, to anticipate calamity rather than hope for good. It conditioned your heart to withdraw from joy out of fear that it might be fleeting. But I have not endowed you with a spirit of trepidation. I gave you the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. The adversary twisted your view, leading you to see pain as your destiny and affliction as your lifelong portion. But I am here to declare that pain does not define your identity. It is your altar, a holy place where you present your broken pieces and discover that I never turned away, never overlooked, never wasted a moment. Even my own son, whom I adored without limit, endured suffering, not due to my abandonment, but because through his path the most grand victory in all eternity blossomed. The cross was never my shortcoming, it was my strategy. The hush of that Saturday was not a power shortage. It was the womb of resurrection. This same truth applies in your life. The gravest of your sorrows has provided ground for the destiny that awaits. The tears you've poured forth have watered the roots of trees whose fruit you shall witness in time. I acknowledge how difficult it is to trust in the midst of it all, to interpret waiting as discipline. Yet what you label as delay, I label preparation. What you experience as silence, I anoint as hallowed space. And what you call agony, I name process. I take no pleasure in your misery, but I find joy in your redemption. I do not celebrate your breaking, but I rejoice in your coming wholeness. You are never overlooked. You are refined. You are not being chastised. You are being shielded. Certain things I withheld from you out of love, knowing they would have overwhelmed the person you were at that time. Some prayers lingered unanswered because I was responding to an even deeper prayer you forgot you prayed, the one where you longed to know me closely, to walk beside me, to be ablaze with my fire. That level of oneness does not flourish in comfort. It is nurtured in moments where everything else fades away and only I remain. Now, I bring clarity, not to nullify your hardships, but to reveal the harvest they have produced. Your story is far from its conclusion. Your hurt does not signal the last page. You are still being written, and the pen rests in my hand. I am not composing a tragedy. I am unveiling a testimony. And one day, the place that nearly crushed you will become the beacon others point to, saying, if God carried them through that, He can surely carry me through this. I am the God who wastes nothing, not your darkest nights, not your hardest struggles, not your most acute loneliness. Every tear is gathered, not out of pity, but as a promise of what I shall restore. You will not linger in this valley. You will not be pinned down by these flames. You will emerge refined, not wrecked. So breathe now, son, not because the pain has fully lifted, but because my presence has arrived. You need not comprehend everything to trust me. Simply take the next step. Allow the tears if they come. Let your questions surface. I am not delicate. I can bear your humanity. I created it, and I entered it through my Son so I could meet you in every season, joyful or shattered, and anoint it as holy. I do not neglect what is painful. I do not disregard what bleeds. I am the God who accompanies you through the inferno and leads you out devoid of the scent of smoke. You shall not be consumed. You shall be commissioned. Daughter, now that you have opened your heart and allowed your pain to speak truly, it is time for you to hear what I have been arranging behind the curtain of your waiting. I have not been idle. I have not been silent without reason. While your human eyes searched the natural realm for clues, I have been working in spheres the physical eye cannot behold. While you questioned if I had forgotten your petitions, I was shaping results that would exceed your expectations. I do not forget. I do not abandon. I do not make promises and then retract them. Whatever I decree, I complete. Whatever I plant, I cause to flourish. And now, after a span that resembled barrenness, I proclaim this over your life. The shift has already begun. You expected transformation to arrive amid thunder, accompanied by unmistakable signs and roaring validations. But I am the Lord of gentle origins, of holy processes, of fragile roots penetrating unseen soil. Right now, though you may not perceive it fully, the ground beneath your life trembles. Closed doors were never my rejection. They were my protection. The rerouting that confused you was my response to prayers you forgot you prayed. I did not guide you this far, only to abandon you on the brink. I led you here because you are poised to cross over into what could only be carried once you were emptied of all that once hindered you. This marks not the conclusion of a heartbreaking path, but the dawn of a prophetic revelation. The promises I extended to you were never superficial or symbolic. They remain timeless truths, awaiting the proper moment to actualize. And the time is now. Daughter, this very heartbeat in which you breathe, wrestle with doubt, and yearn for hope is part of their unfolding. I pledge to restore you not merely in material things, but in time, purity, clarity, and serenity. I vowed that you would have connections shaped by my heart, not by repeated wounds. I promised that I would grant vision, not a hazy motivation, but direction, informed by the wisdom of heaven. I declared that what was snatched from you would be returned, yet not in the old form, but multiplied in intention and divine purpose. I do not tantalize my children with empty hope. I establish them in it. Right now, doors are opening that no person can seal. I am sending individuals carrying keys you never realized you required. Divinely aligned interactions, precisely timed conversations directed by my spirit, possibilities concealed under humble exteriors, yet steeped in eternal gravity. You will behold them, and you will know them because your heart has been prepared to identify what is real. I am dispersing the haze from your discernment, fine-tuning your perceptions. You will no longer move blindly where clarity is essential. I am lifting the veil, and you will notice my presence at work even before you rationalize it. The tokens will initially be soft. An unanticipated calm, a perfectly timed message, a dream that lingers with weight, a scripture that ignites your heart. Pay attention. These are not random occurrences. They are confirmations. I promise to shepherd you with both compassion and precision. When you stand at crossroads, recall, you are not merely following a chart. You are following my voice. And my voice is not distant. It resounds within you. As you lean into me, divine orchestrations will hasten. Your season of meandering is concluding. The time of precise appointments is now awakening. You will not lose what is destined for you because I hold it, and I am faithful. Even those matters you considered delayed remain precisely on my timetable. I am also breathing new life into promises you buried in despair. There are dreams you labeled as expired, visions filed away with your disappointments. Yet I, the Lord your God, transcend time. I restore beyond mere replacement. I redeem what was abandoned. Watch as I revive areas you assumed were long dead. Observe me illuminating the rooms of your soul that you locked long ago. You imagined it was finished, but it was simply paused. I do not impart vitality into what I intend to leave dormant. Anything I begin to stir, I rouse fully. And when I do, it rises, not as the echo of its former self, but as a vessel of glory. You will sense the atmosphere shifting around you, even in casual exchanges. Moments will come where my spirit nudges you unexpectedly. Do not dismiss it. That is my signature upon the hour, reminding you that the shift is not pending, it has arrived. The wilderness is concluding, and waters are rushing forth. And it is not because you finally performed everything without fault, it is because I have appointed this moment. I chose this phase. I have decided to celebrate not your perfection, but your perseverance. You never let go. You never fully gave up. Even when your belief wavered, you clung on. And now I cling to my covenant, ensuring the completion of what I initiated. Remain vigilant for signs, but remain more vigilant for me. I am not solely the Lord of outcomes, I am the Lord of the journey. You will witness your breakthrough. You will observe each promise fulfilled, but do not overlook the splendor of the journey. Each forward step carries significance. Each dawn you greet with the smallest glimmer of hope is a triumph in my eyes. Celebrate even the faintest sign, for they are the gentle kisses of a devoted father, reminding you, I remain here, still accomplishing exactly as I said I would. So lift your gaze, daughter, not with distrust, but with expectancy. The season of waiting transitions into the season of witnessing. I shall reveal my goodness to you in the land of the living. And when it happens, you will remember that I stood faithful not just in the instant of realization, but in every silent season leading up to it. My child, now that you have embraced my promises, sensing the stirrings of movement in your spirit and perceiving an onset of this shift, I must guide you deeper into the tangible expression of the faith I have seeded within you. What I have awakened must not remain a fleeting sentiment. It must become your consistent walk, a daily mode of existence. Faith does not revolve around sudden inspiration. It is the continuous alignment of your choices, focus, attention, and reliance on me, even when my signs are subtle and the road beyond your feet remains unclear. I do not instruct you to conjure faith from effort alone. I urge you to activate the faith I myself placed within you. You are not laboring to believe. You are coming into agreement with the words I have already spoken. There are ordinary yet sacred routines I urge you to develop, not as empty rituals to earn my favor, but as the reverent posture of one who already carries it. Begin by offering me your mornings. Before the clamor of the day invades, before obligations arise, before your mind strays into battles not yet fought, pause, seek me first. It need not be elaborate nor lengthy, merely genuine. Allow your very first words each morning to focus not on your fears, but on my nature. Call upon my name. Invite me into your awareness prior to the world's intrusion. In giving me your mornings, you anchor the hours that follow in eternity. You remind yourself that you walk this day not alone and not in charge. I am. Next, I ask you to safeguard which voice holds the greatest volume in your life. That which you dwell upon, you magnify, and that which you magnify, you empower. Do not underestimate seemingly small choices. The media you absorb when exhausted, the words you utter in frustration, the notions you entertain when uncertainty strikes. Such decisions shape the posture of your soul. Faith does not thrive in chaos. It grows amid clarity. And clarity arises when you esteem my voice above all others. Lower the volume, beloved. Be intentional with what pours into your ears and eyes. Nourish your faith with content that reflects my truth, rather than echoes your anxiety. The environment you create will either welcome my presence or obscure it. There will be days you feel void of any spark, days when the flame seems non-existent. This does not signal failure, it signals a forging. In those moments, practice faith in action. Do not wait for feelings to affirm your beliefs. An act of obedience, offered in silence, reverberates more powerfully in the spiritual realm than a resounding declaration spoken in bright times. Whenever you choose worship absent of any visible victory, you plant seeds in soil certain to bloom. Never undervalue consistent obedience. When you pardon someone without approval, when you love without a reward, when you walk in holiness without accolades, you follow the footsteps of kings and prophets. Those who grasped that faith was not about public recognition, but steadfast loyalty. I call you back to the scriptures, not driven by obligation, but as essential breath. You do not pore over my word to flaunt knowledge. You do it to remember who I am, to recall your true identity, to cling to what stands unshakable. My word is not a code of rules. It is a weapon, a reflection, a direction, a light upon your path. Let it live in you, not as mere facts, but as a force of transformation. Read slowly. Let the phrases nestle in your spirit. A single verse, meditated upon deeply, can reshuffle your entire day. Soon you will detect my tone, my motifs, my assurances. As you do so, my whispers will become more recognizable in your own thoughts. Speak life over yourself, your schedule, your relationships. Your words carry spiritual consequence. They either construct or destroy. They either stand aligned with my truth or with the enemy's deceptions. Declare what I have already stated, even if your reality contradicts it. Utter it anyway. Call yourself chosen when rejection looms. Call yourself free at the knock of temptation. Call yourself healed while still in process. Spoken in faith, your proclamations shift atmospheres, less because of volume and more because of my authority underlying them. Additionally, train yourself to sense my subtle directives. Not every wonder emerges through dramatic signs. Often my leading appears as a faint nudge, to reach out to someone at the right time, to pause before you react, to share generously when it defies reason, to rest when your instinct is to push harder. These moments are not disruptions, they are invitations. Learn to pause and ask, Lord, is this you? And I will respond. I do not hide from hearts who genuinely seek me. As your faith gains depth, you will realize that peace serves as your guide. When you walk where I direct you, even amid potential fears, you experience a deep well of peace, affirming it. Listen to that peace, pursue that current. That is my spirit steering you. Comprehend this truth. Your faith need not be flawless, it must be sincere. Bring your doubts to me. Bring your exhaustion, your anger. I do not shun your humanity, I formed it. However, let me refine it. The moment discouragement creeps in, refrain from isolation. Hasten to me. Instead of rehearsing your fears, speak my truth. Do not collapse into self-sufficiency. Revert to surrender. Such is the way of faith, leaning on me repeatedly, no matter how often you waver. In the end, surround yourself with souls who fortify your spirit. Community isn't an option, it's essential. I created you to flourish with others, to sharpen, to inspire, and to support. Do not walk this road alone. Let others speak my life over you, echoing my words when sorrow muffles your own hearing. Return that same gift to them. Faith proliferates in an atmosphere of unity. This, then, is how you embody my message. Not with grand spectacles, but with unwavering steadiness, daily choices, and an ever-deepening trust. You are not stumbling in the dark. You journey with me step by step, breath by breath. I will lead you. I will strengthen you. I will not forsake you. Your faith is not fragile, it is expanding. And what you cultivate in private shall eventually flourish openly. This is your cadence now. This is your path. Come, let us walk it together. My beloved, I perceive how fatigued you are from feigning strength when inside all you crave is safety. I see how the world compels you to perform, to defend yourself, to demonstrate your worth simply for a glimpse of recognition. Even then, you frequently feel unseen. Yet to me, you are fully visible. Not the facade that smiles through the pain, not the one who repeats the learned phrases without feeling. I behold the core of you, the real, the uncertain, longing, cautious, seeking, bruised yet hoping. And that true self does not repel me. That is the self I most cherish, the self I meticulously made, the self I have patiently summoned, not for shame, but for renewal. Permit me to address the identity the world endeavored to bury. You are not your errors. You are not your backstory. You are not what others inflicted upon you. You are not your deficiencies. You are not the words hurled at you in anger or terror. You are not the product of cultural expectations. I did not call you to blend in. I formed you to stand out. Before rejection, before trauma, before apprehension taught you to draw inward, I named you mine. That calling has never altered. You are my child, not a slave to fear or a pawn of performance or a captive to the verdicts of people. You are chosen, set apart, deeply beloved. Not in some vague sense, but in a clear, precise, divine sense. I know each hair upon your head. I hear every thought before you ever voice it. I witnessed every moment you questioned me, and I remained, because I don't vanish when you doubt. I move closer. You might not perceive yourself as brave, but I call you valiant, not because of a fearless stance, but because you pressed on. Even with unsteady steps, you persevered. Even when love cost you, you loved. Even when silence endured, you continued to seek. Such persistence is not weakness, but strength, a faith that moves forward. Now, I desire to restore you, not only in spirit, but in identity. The person you were before you forgot how to believe, how to laugh freely, how to love boldly. That person has not perished. They are not unreachable. I have sheltered them under layers of letdowns and defenses, and I am summoning them to rise. This restoration will not occur through striving. It will unfold through yielding. You need not prove anything to me. You must be ready to receive. Let me unearth every falsehood, that you are too damaged to serve, that you remain perpetually behind, that you are hard to cherish, that you must placate everyone to remain secure. Let me strip away those lies, not to leave you naked, but to cover you once more in truth, radiance, and the dignity no one can snatch away. You are fashioned in my image, not in dread, not in tight-fisted control, not in scarcity. You were formed in love, with purpose, with power. You have not slipped my mind. I have not missed you in the crowd. Even when you can't see yourself, I remain unchanging. I don't shift with your feelings. I do not retreat when you're perplexed. I am the same always, and my vow to you stands unwavering. Society may categorize you by your last misstep, but I engage you based on my timeless design. I do not define you by your hurts, I define you by my promise. My promise proclaims you are a new creation. The old is past, the new emerges, not from the outside in, but from within outward. Allow me to rebuild what life has torn asunder. Let me show you heaven's mirror, where you are measured not by scars but by sonship. You are not simply tolerated, you are celebrated. The very aspects of you once deemed disqualifying are the same I will use to magnify my glory. I use shattered vessels to reveal spotless light. I call upon the vulnerable to humble the mighty. I choose the unprepared to demonstrate that grace is never earned, only conferred. Cease trying to earn what is already freely yours. Return to the stance of belovedness. Come back to the place where you recall that I am your Father, and I delight in you. This restoration will infiltrate every dimension of you. Your thoughts will gradually shift. Your heart will gradually release its barricades. Your words will begin to reflect a different spirit, not through forced effort, but because your source has been purified. You will no longer speak as one the world has victimized, but as one carrying the authority of my kingdom. You will enter rooms with a subtle but real power, not arrogance, but confidence in who commissioned you. Even when others fail to notice it initially, you will embody an unbreakable peace, the security of someone refashioned by the very voice of God. Let me heal the child in you who never felt sheltered. Let me rekindle the dreamer in you who shut down dreams out of despair. Let me affirm the leader in you who has been torn by self-doubt. You do not need to hold on to the burden of self-definition any longer. I will define you. I will defend you. I will ground you. And I will do so in ways no man can overturn. Your renewal has begun. Each truth you absorb is a stone set in rebuilding. Each lie uprooted is a chain that falls away. Each moment you trust me instead of returning to old patterns, a barrier crumbles and more light flows in. You are not who you were, and you do not have to become who others presumed. You are who I decree you are, and I declare you are loved. I declare you are whole. I declare you are appointed. I declare you are sheltered. I proclaim you are emerging as the true reflection of my heart on earth. Rise with that reality. Speak from that place. Rest there. You need not push harder. You only need to draw nearer. Let me do what only I can, make all things new, including you. My child, now that your heart revives in truth, that your spirit breathes again, it is time to walk with me along new pathways. Restoration transcends a mere sensation. It is a life to be embraced. To embrace it fully, you must walk with forethought. I am not the God of disarray, nor the God of vague inspirations. I am a God of structure, of insight, of guidance. My spirit does not only spark your emotions, he also leads you with discipline, pattern, and wisdom. I desire to pour out more, but I must first prepare you to hold it. A vessel needs to be ready to bear what it is given. So heed my voice now, not with trepidation, but with expectancy, as I share the steps that will fortify you, guide you, and amplify my presence within your daily life. First, you must re-establish the altar, not necessarily a physical space, but a sacred domain in your schedule that belongs to me. The world might argue that time with me is optional, but in reality it is vital. Your soul cannot be nourished solely by echoes of what you heard last month. You require daily sustenance, not stored, not stale, but fresh manna for each new day. Draw near to me early. Before your feet meet the day's chaos, enter my calm. Open the scriptures, not to fulfill a rule, but to sense my breath among the lines. I am there, in the silence between words, not hidden from you, but woven into the fabric of every verse. Start with the Psalms in your heaviness. Linger in the Gospels when you need a reminder of who I am. Study the Proverbs in times of decision. Most importantly, read without hurry. Let the words sink deep. Allow my word to determine your soul's atmosphere before anything else can. Make prayer your rhythm, not merely your last resort. Do not wait until disaster compels you to speak with me. Develop a lifestyle of prayer that undergirds you before challenges strike. Prayer isn't a spectacle. It is a return. You need not contrive the perfect language. Let your words be true. Bring your real self to me, in your car, at the sink, in the ordinary corners of life. Recognize me in every scenario. Let your mind be taught to consult me in everything. Celebrate me in moments of triumph. When confusion creeps in, pause and welcome me in. When temptation surrounds you, speak my name. The more often you bring me into every moment, the more clearly you will discern my reaction. Prayer will transition from an event to an attitude. Therein, you will become increasingly aware of my voice, not only on your knees, but while you pace, toil, and wait. You must also invite silence. Culture conditions you to pack every breath with noise, with endless scrolling, with constant stimuli. However, I speak often in hushed tones. I stir within that quiet. Do not shrink from stillness. If unease arises in the silence, that is where my spirit starts revealing what you have evaded. Dedicate a few moments, even if brief, to abiding in silence, letting your thoughts surface and letting me engage them. I am not disturbed by your doubts or perplexed by your questions, but you must afford me the space to respond. Often, the mightiest encounters occur not in thunderous announcements, but in tranquil, consecrated hush. Guard your disposition. The mindset you choose shapes your life more than any outer condition. I do not ask you to feign positivity. I invite you to anchor your perspective in my promises. Stop reliving defeats. Declare life. Opt for gratitude, even if it feels strange. Thanksgiving is not evasion, it is alignment. When you praise me amid uncertainty, you remind your heart that it is not alone. Your attitude in desolate places frequently determines your length of stay there. Move forward in peace. When you struggle to find peace, return to the altar. That is where I replenish it. Seek companions who speak strength into you. Solitude fosters danger, community strengthens. Pursue people who remind you of who I am when you can't recall it yourself. Stay teachable, open. Let hearts of iron sharpen yours, but also be willing to let go of ties that deplete your spirit, feed your fears, or pull you away from what I am building. Not everyone can continue with you, and that is not rejection, it is refinement. I will place the right individuals around you. You must choose to walk with them, resisting the impulse to revert to familiar territory just for comfort. Obey swiftly. My directions may not always be logical in the moment, but delayed obedience often opens the door to inner turmoil. I will guide you, tap you on the shoulder, prompt you to speak or be still, to move or wait, to give or remain steady. Do not stall, demanding total clarity. Keep pace with me, trusting. My sheep know my voice, not because they fathom every detail, but because they recognize love, correction, and clarity in its tone. I will never direct you toward harm. I may guide you into deeper surrender, testing, and the unfamiliar, but not to destruction. My instructions are grounded in my safeguarding, and your faith is the fertile ground where your deliverance will sprout. Lastly, remember to rest. I commanded rest not to minimize your productivity, but because I knew your inner being needs space to breathe. The Sabbath was not proposed, it was decreed. Learn to step back, to pause, to admire what I have done. You are not an automaton, you are a vessel. Vessels need intervals of refilling. Rest does not equal sloth, it is mindful renewal. It is in rest that you hear my voice most vividly, when you cease striving and start absorbing. Allow me to pour into you often, not merely when you collapse. This is the method of walking with me, not by flawless actions, but through purposeful cadence, by everyday choices, by listening, by placing your trust in me. As you consistently apply these practices, you will find yourself fortified, emotionally and spiritually. You will sense my direction more keenly. You will be touched more profoundly. You will radiate a confidence not born of self-assertion, but anchored in God's assurance. This is your new stride, a life of fellowship, an existence built on the altar of my presence, upheld by my voice and conformed to my word. Beloved, I speak now in both affirmation and revelation. You stand at the brink of a divine unveiling. That stirring within you, the presence you've perceived as if a breeze beyond your threshold, is no longer approaching. It has arrived. The moment has shifted. The season has changed. What was distant has come near. Hear me. Prepare for sudden acceleration. The shift you yearned for, the answer you prayed for, the release you scarcely dared to envision, it is here. I do not say this for shallow inspiration, but to validate the work I have already begun in the unseen. The waiting period served its purpose. The refining fire consumed what needed to be purified. And now I move with intention, swiftness, and irrefutability. You have borne promises as seeds, unsure if they would ever crack open. You have doubted whether you heard me correctly, whether your faith was in vain, whether time had simply surpassed you. Yet I am never late. I am never forgetful. I am exact. I am sovereign. By the authority of my name, I declare over you, the time of hiddenness yields to your unveiling. You are stepping forth from the cavern of silence into a field of fulfillment. Doors you believed sealed indefinitely will open without your forced effort. Believe me, you will not need to pry them open. They will yield because I have walked before you, unlocking each one. You will pass through with unmerited favor, and you will thereby know it was I who made it so. I am restructuring connections even now. I am eliminating what no longer fits your destiny and creating new bonds built on covenant rather than convenience. Anticipate divine interactions. Anticipate seemingly mundane dialogues that will alter your path. I am sending individuals who will behold the authentic you, who will encourage the gifts I have bestowed upon you, and call them to the forefront without fear. You will no longer need to reduce yourself for acceptance, nor dim your light to preserve superficial harmony. I am bringing around you those who acknowledge the weight of my glory in your life and vow to guard it, not exploit it. Even in your finances, the soil is shifting. Where dryness prevailed, growth will now flourish. Where obstacles stood, flow will commence. Not for vanity or even personal ease, but for divinely intended purpose. I give seeds to those who sow, and you have been trustworthy over small things. Now behold, I will make you a steward of greater. This is not about accumulating wealth. It is about alignment. I am bestowing resources connected to specific assignments. Doors of opportunity present themselves because you have been readied by the trials you survived. You feared you were delayed, but I was equipping you for a season that would have overwhelmed the former version of you. Receive this truth. Your voice is about to gain significance in places you never dreamed of entering, in spaces that once made you feel insignificant. I will ensure your voice is not only heard, but heeded. Through adversity, I refined your insight. Through stillness, I honed your discernment. Now, I will use your words to bring about real change. When you speak, hearts will shift. When you intercede, atmospheres will transform. When you declare, obstacles will move. This is not ambition. It is the mantle of my spirit upon you. You are not abandoned. You are simply reserved. Now I stir awake what lay dormant, hidden and patiently maturing in dark corners. A healing wave flows toward you, touching your body, your spirit, and your household. Cycles you believed were irreversible shall crumble unexpectedly. Generational burdens are being severed. Addictions and patterns mocking your progress are being exposed and dismantled. I am not toying with darkness, I am eradicating it. You will see with clarity the drains on your life. You will walk in understanding where confusion once reigned. You will experience tranquility where your mind once echoed with chaos. I am not merely treating surface pains. I am striking at their roots. The fear you have carried like a companion is being ripped out. not merely calmed. The guilt that clung even after forgiveness is being replaced, not merely covered over. You will not move forward wounded, you will move forward complete. Remain alert for dreams as well. I am revitalizing your nights where restful slumber was denied. I am restoring peaceful sleep, but more than that, I am releasing nocturnal messages. I will reveal myself to you in dreams. I will whisper through visions. You will awaken with direction, confident of your next move. My voice resonates more distinctly in your soul now, and all the diversions are fading. This moment is not about emotional buzz, but about prophetic precision. You will discern when to speak and when to remain still, when to intervene and when to pause. I am sharpening your inner vision and enlarging your influence. Even your physical surroundings are shifting. The environments you once accepted are incompatible with the future you are entering. Do not resist the transitions. If I relocate you, trust me. If I call you away, bless what you leave and depart. You are not forfeiting, you are being propelled. And where I am propelling you is not just fresh, but essential. This imminent chapter demands your full presence, not an unblemished performance. I remain with you in every uncertain step, in each dialogue, and through every tremor of doubt. I am not simply ahead of you, I reside within you. Therefore, arise, child. Arise in boldness, in insight, in the elation that I impart. What I set in motion now cannot be canceled. The shift does not rely on conditions, it is affirmed. I have witnessed your tears, heard your pleas, noted your endurance. I have chosen this hour to honor the seeds you sowed in obscurity. Now I unveil them publicly, not for your renown, but for mine, that the world might see you belong to me, that they might behold my work in a heart that said yes amid its own shattering, that they might be stirred to faith when they see me elevating you in a manner beyond human fabrication. This is the dawn of your revealing. The change is no longer on the horizon, it has arrived. Proceed, child. You are prepared. My child, all I have revealed to you thus far has been leading to this juncture. Not merely a shift in your external world, but an encounter, a convergence between your humanity and my divinity. This isn't about your next choices alone, but about the person you become within my nearness. You were never meant to tackle life through mere logic, discipline, or emotion. I formed you to live immersed, wholly, constantly, and utterly in my spirit. Now I summon you not to fleeting visits in my presence, but to abide there, to be changed, not merely awakened, to be saturated, not just touched, to be baptized anew not only in water, but in fire. I have observed you stretching out to me in hushed desperation, craving something genuine. I have witnessed your heartbreak, aching for more than religion, more than regulations, more than going through motions. Let me assure you, your hunger yearns not for a fleeting feeling, but for a person. It is my spirit, my essence, my power, my closeness. The Holy Spirit is no mere force for spiritual elites. He is not reserved for the especially worthy. He is my precious gift to you, the manifestation of my proximity, my comfort, my illumination, my authority abiding within you, unendingly, not sporadically. He does not come briefly, he dwells. He does not lightly brush you, he remodels you. He waits for your invitation, not out of distance, but out of gentleness. Now is the time to open yourself, not a fragment of your daily routine, but the core of your existence. Welcome him not as a doctrine, but as your constant companion. Let him enter even the rooms of your soul you have locked. Let him mend the wounds you buried beyond speech. Bitterness you assumed manageable. Trauma you normalized. Anxieties you learned to live with. Numbness you misread as tranquility. My spirit desires to inhale life into all these parts, not to pass judgment, but to bring renewal. I did not send my spirit to enhance your image. I sent him to make you whole. True wholeness ignites not by your own sweeping changes, but by allowing him into every chamber of your being. Do not be alarmed by such intimacy. Do not withdraw simply because it is unfamiliar. You were crafted for this closeness. The reason superficial faith never satisfied you is because I placed eternity deep in your heart. Only my Spirit can fill the void He Himself designed. Every encounter you experience with Him will draw you further inward, toward simplicity, purity, and sincerity, away from pretense. He does not spark mere performance. He furnishes you with an indwelling, and with that, everything begins to align. Your thoughts, your yearnings, your true identity. You will start to love as I love. You will feel what I feel, to the extent of weeping when I weep and rejoicing when I rejoice. For my Spirit does not merely modify your deeds, He reshapes who you are. Your renewal starts within. You have pleaded for me to alter your circumstances, yet my first step is to expand your capacity. I stretch your heart before I widen your reach. I deepen your foundation before I showcase your fruit. My Spirit does this steadily, silently, thoroughly. He will never barge in, but as soon as you yield, even trembling, He floods you. Not as an ephemeral rush, but as an onrush of clarity, serenity, and flame. A fire not to destroy, but to refine. He begins to cleanse your inner universe. Long-standing mental patterns will collapse, false identities will topple, and in their place, you will discover the design I embedded in you before any sorrow tainted your narrative. Gradually, you will see transformations, not only in your worship, but in your daily steps. You will think with laser-like discernment, speak with unexpected bravery, feel my closeness in overlooked spaces, and relish silence because you discern my whisper. Desires that once lured you will lose their allure, not from condemnation, but from new alignment. This is not legalism, it is liberty. The more fullness you receive, the more freedom you obtain. And indeed, you were meant for such freedom, not for dread, shame, or self-destruction, but for life overflowing by my Spirit. You can seize this right now. A platform is unnecessary. A song is unnecessary. You need not wait for the ideal moment. You only need that longing. Pause, inhale, and whisper, "Come, Holy Spirit," and He will. Not because He was distant, but because you have turned intentionally toward Him. And when He arrives, He brings all you lack: courage for the path, peace for unresolved dilemmas, authority against spiritual opposition. You will not tread in weakness. You will move in fullness. My Spirit shall also supply words for those burdens you have yet to articulate. He interprets your sighs. He prays on your behalf when words fail. He reminds you of my decrees, guiding you into truth. He shields you from deception, from disorientation, from fraudulence. He trains your ears to perceive, your eyes to see, your heart to detect what many overlook. You will not feel aimless because you are being led. As you yield to Him moment by moment, I shall mold you into someone unrecognizable to the old you, but at last at home in your own skin. You will become a meeting place for others, carrying my domain. You will enter rooms and changes will happen, not through your might, but through the one who resides within. Others will sense tranquility just by sharing your space. They will raise questions, unsure of the reason. They will glimpse me in you, uncertain how it happened. For my Spirit does not remain quiet once you invite Him wholeheartedly. He overflows. Here lies your invitation, my child. Do not merely receive the promises, also receive my presence. Let me rebuild you from your depths outward. Let me fill your fractures, restore your voids, overwhelm the places you believed forever barren. You are not overly complex. You are not unreachable. You are prepared, and I am right here. The Spirit of the living God has not arrived for a brief stay. You are becoming His resting place. Let Him settle. Let Him rule. In doing so, you shall never be the same. You have traveled with me through the canyon of silence, emerging into the radiance of truth. You permitted my voice to break through the uproar, my Spirit to occupy concealed corners, and my presence to evolve from a mere concept to your actual home. Now, beloved, you stand on the border of a revived life, not built by sheer willpower, but born from profound surrender. All that I commenced in you will be brought to completion. The spark I ignited will not dim. The metamorphosis you have tasted is but the precursor to what I aim to solidify. For I am not the God of transient encounters. I am the God who dwells eternally. From this day forward, your stride will change. You will no longer be whipped about by fear or overshadowed by distortions that once bound you. You will walk with clarity in your eyes, with certainty in your heart, firmly aware that you are entirely mine. You will stop questioning, "Am I enough?" For the reply will resonate within your spirit, not through your own strength, but through mine. I am enough in you. And that is where your peacefulness shall abide, in realizing you are no longer who you were, that your narrative is not an endless loop of collapse, but a flowing current of glory streaming from restored fragments. You will observe confirmations in everyday life. You will notice calmer responses, quicker returns of joy, sharper clarity. These are not signs of perfection, but proof of my abiding presence. I am with you in every room, guiding you in every verdict, anchoring you in every raging storm. You are never alone. You never truly were, but now you know it. And that knowledge will alter everything. I now commission you, not solely with words, but with the spiritual authority sourced in your true identity. You are an agent of transformation, a carrier of holy fire, a sanctuary for the living God. You are not impotent. You are not disregarded. You are not waiting and idle for someday. I am already positioning you. Proceed in confidence, not in self but in me. And when the voices of deceit return, indeed they will, speak what you heard in our private moments. Proclaim aloud what I have revealed. Look again to these truths until they etch themselves on your mind's canvas. The adversary can distract, but he cannot demolish what is founded in me. You stand established, sealed, chosen. Now walk liberated. Speak from truth, rest without remorse, act without apprehension. Become still when I request stillness. You've journeyed this far because your heart seeks more than temporary inspiration. It seeks true transformation. Today, you've glimpsed what it means to live not from performance, but from divine purpose. Yet this journey is only beginning. If what you've experienced here has awakened something within you, hope, clarity, or perhaps even curiosity, I urge you to continue walking this path alongside us. Subscribe now, because every word shared here is crafted to guide you closer to your true self, deeper into communion, and further along the path of your divine calling. Turn on notifications so you won't miss the timely messages crafted specifically to strengthen you exactly when you need them most. Remember, you're never alone in this walk. Each video, each word is an invitation back to this sacred space, a sanctuary designed to refill your spirit and remind you who you truly are. So stay close, beloved, keep returning, keep listening, and let these divine truths continually reshape your life. Until we meet again, remember, your journey matters deeply. You are profoundly loved, and your best days are not behind you. They are just ahead. See you soon. Amen.